Welcome back from the bye. Long time no see. Feels like it's been such a long time since we did a show together, man. I mean, good Lord. I can't believe we've gone this long without doing a South Carolina show. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This is South Carolina Live here at the Voice of College Football. I'm your host, as always, Lucas Hill. Thank you guys so much for joining us on what should be a very fun episode. We have a lot to break down, a lot to recap on a very interesting Tuesday night. You obviously have Texas A&M this week that you have to prepare for. Now, where you're at this current moment in regards to making a bowl game, this is the most important week that you will have so far this year. How do you respond? That's the number one thing that I think a lot of people need to find out this week. What changes have been made since you fired Mike Shula during the offseason? What did you install during the bye week? What did Mike Furry and company do? We'll see, man. We got a lot to break down with it. We got a lot that we got to talk about. Every live show is brought to you by our good friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Going over to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app on your Apple or Android device. Use that promo code VOCFBSC, and when you play your first $5 lineup, you will get $50 instantly in free bets. That's code VOCFBSC. You play that first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly in bets. Must be 21 or older, not available in all states. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That is 1-800-GAMBLER. Shane Beamer had another presser today, and let me just tell you, it certainly was a treat. That's all I can tell you. So I'll give you the quick rundown of what we got to see throughout this week. Was it pretty? Not really. It was rather embarrassing at times, in my opinion. What's funny about the whole thing? Good Lord, we have 24 of you in the live chat. Good Lord, where did y'all all come from? Can y'all do me a favor? Y'all make sure y'all hit the like and share if you're no matter where you're watching us. Thank you. So we had a lot to discuss when it comes to South Carolina. Our guy Jeremy Fryer says, yo and hi. Hello, Jeremy Fryer. Good to see you. And he asked, what would it take for him to hire Mike Furry as the full-time OC? Shane said that he didn't want to put parameters on it, but he did say, I'm not closing the door on anything. So what he's essentially saying is, I have not learned a thing from the last hire that I had for your offensive coordinator. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. It's essentially what he's saying. So it's a slap in the face, and it's completely ridiculous that he would do something like this. Completely ridiculous. Makes no sense that he would do this, that he would even consider hiring from within after the disaster that you had last week. I like Mike Furry, but guys, he is not an offensive play caller. He's not, and he never will be. He's a great receiver coach, but in God's honest opinion, you got to clean house on the offensive side. You have to. You're not consistent, and you're not producing at a high level. So, if I am in Shane Beamer's shoes right now, I am looking at this situation and I'm saying, hey, man, If it was broken enough already, why should we continue to fix it and hire from within when already you have evidence as of what happened last year when it was very obvious that it wasn't working? So you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot, and you're going to end up hurting yourself because you're so damn stupid and you're so damn selfish that you're not going to spend money to go get an offensive play caller, an actual offensive play caller. That ain't on nobody else but you, dude. So you better do some thinking over the next several weeks of the season. You also got to do some soul searching. Dead Pixel 614, is my name Jeff? No. Nice try though. My name is not Jeff. When you had this quote come out from him, and he talks about his past offensive coordinator hires. He said he pushes back on the narrative that I haven't gotten these coordinator hires right. Are you sure? Marcus Satterfield was mid at best. You talk about Dowell Logan that got hot at the last minute in the second half of last year and helped Lenoris get a massive, massive opportunity right in front of him so that he could go get the head coaching job at App State. Now you completely pissed down your leg and got lazy in the offseason because you went out and you hired from within. You promote Mike Shula, who's, now was a really, really bad decision, but now you're paying the consequences for it. It's on you. It's on you. So he has no idea how to admit that he's wrong. And in my opinion, this is just like a Dabo situation. Dabo gets questioned about why he's not going in the portal and getting guys, and he elicits the same response about how, it's not about the portal, it's about developing dudes. Stupid quote. Stupid quote. Why would he even come out and say that? It's beyond me. I can't sit here and defend Shane anymore with this. It's ridiculous. And it's borderline stupid. What a joke, man. What a joke. Let's talk about the college football playoff round that just got released a couple of hours ago real fast before we move on. Cincinnati and South Florida moving up into the top 25. Cincy finally getting some love in the college football playoff polls, despite being ranked number 22 in the CFP. South Florida sitting at 24th right now in the American right now. They are the highest ranked group of 5 team. Could potentially get that 12 seed in the college football playoff. Tennessee still sitting at number 23 at 6-3. They actually moved a couple of spots following the bye week. Pitt moves up twice and gets to number 22 in the nation. Iowa at 21. Louisville dropped 5 to 20. Virginia dropped 5 to 19. Michigan at 18. USC at 17. Georgia Tech at 16. Miami at 15. I think you need to flip-flop Georgia Tech and Miami, dude. That's ridiculous. Vandy's sitting at 14. Utah at BYU drops all the way to 12, which I expected them to do. Oklahoma sits at 11. Texas climbing up into the top 10. Oregon, Notre Dame at 9. Oregon at 8. Ole Miss drops one spot to 7 after a blowout win against the Citadel. Texas Tech jumps them and gets to number 6. Georgia at 5. Alabama, Texas A&M, Indiana, and Ohio State remain atop the top 5. So no new changes within the top 5. So the only controversy I do have is Georgia Tech potentially moving spots with Miami. That's the only complaint that I have. But I also understand because Georgia Tech, I believe, was off this week. They were indeed. Yeah. We'll see how that Duke win plays out further down the road. Wake Forest gets to bowl eligibility. Duke sitting at 5-4. Virginia Tech at 3-6. Wake Forest is sitting a bit better at 6-3 as a bowl eligible team. So that makes that game for Georgia Tech and against Pitt all the more important, just to get a signature win in the CFP so that they can develop some sort of respect in the playoff polls. So still a long ways to go in the season, man. Still got a long ways to go. But let's talk about Texas A&M, who sits at number 3 at this point in time. Watched the film, got a little bit of a breakdown and analysis of what you need to do to pull off an upset. And I don't think you will pull off the upset. Sorry. But in the case that you do, this is what you need to do. Number 1, you have got to contain Marcel Reed. You understand that he is the most talented player on this roster and arguably a top 3 choice for the Heisman Trophy. So you better find ways to stop him. One thing that you do is that you load the box and you take away his ability to run. But you also have to be smart in the secondary, which I think you are. But that's going to be the strength of where you are on Saturday. I don't think that you're physical enough up front to contend with that offensive line that basically plays like it's every run like it's a 3-yard or gain in a cloud of dust. They will run the piss out of the football. They're going to find ways to get Marcel Reed out on the perimeter, and they're going to try to get him with the option. They're going to get it to a lot of playmakers. Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion, 2 of the best receivers in the SEC. They're going to get Terry Bussey involved depending on how he has been on the injury report. I know he got hurt a little bit last week against Missouri. So we'll see how he is for that game. You obviously have to consider Ruben Owens, who's going to take the majority of the carries this weekend. Ruben Owens played a really good game this past weekend. Had 100 yards rushing against Missouri. And Missouri's got a very good run defense. You have gotten pushed around the last several weeks of the season in the run D. So you better find a way to buckle down on the defensive side of the ball and own the line of scrimmage. 6 has got to get active on the outside. 46 has got to how to counter off of him. Your linebackers have to have the best game that they've ever played all season. I think you'll be fine in the secondary. I think it's a good matchup with the Kilgores and with DQ. Brandon Cisse is the only concern I really have. Peyton Williams too, but I thought Peyton Williams is coming into his own over the last couple of weeks of the season. On the offensive side, I pray to God that you get your offensive inconsistencies out the way. I pray to God that you get up early and you find a way to win this football, or you find a way to dominate the line of scrimmage. I can tell you good luck, but hey, knowing how you have been the last couple of weeks of the season, I mean, I don't see you competing with a front seven that is going to get after you, that is going to get after 16. He may force 16 to get benched. After the mock first drive where you have success going down the field, you're going to have issues. I can feel it coming. And it's the same story, but a different game, guys. And I'm going to get mad and I'm going to get frustrated, but I'm going to try not to, because I'm going to act like I'm used to this. I am. I have to, because it's so frustrating to watch this front five on this offensive line struggle so bad. And with a front four, you better find a way for JT to be able to block Cassius Howell and pass pro. He's going to eat his ass alive, dude. It's going to be bad. That's why I say you got to get the football out quick, and you got to let your playmakers be playmakers. You've got to change up the play call. Thank God Mike Shula is not going to call on 3rd and 1 a draw up the middle with 9 in the box. I don't think you're going to have that. I do want to see a lot of different route concepts from your receivers, something that we're not used to seeing. Mesh routes, screens, digs, hitches, hitch and goes. Get Nick Harbor the football. Their secondary has given up some big plays down the field. If you can get up on them early, and if you can gain a little bit of momentum, you will be fine. And I think you will have a chance to stick around in the football game. You got to finish, though. Got to finish. This can only do so much when you turn the football over. And when you do, they will take advantage of it. Go ask Missouri what happened last week with them. They're going to have to take advantage of those turnovers. A&M got, I believe, 10 off of turnovers last week. Should have had more, but A&M's biggest thing has been their ability to get up on a team and keep the foot on the gas pedal. You have to. They put pressure on a young quarterback last week, and you forced him to make mistakes. That's what A&M did. What happens this week for South Carolina? Well, all I can say is, man, you better find an answer. You better find an answer at receiver. You better find an answer at tackle. You better find an answer at running back, man. This running back rotation has been god-awful. Matt Fuller needs to be getting the majority of the carries. Why he's only getting carries on 3rd and 1 is horse crap. That's beyond me, and it's so stupid that he's being held relegated to that. I get that Rasul Faison has his moments, and he breaks off big runs, but he's not consistent. He's not. So this is a very, very frustrating thing if you are unable to get off the field when it's all said and done. You got to find your legs, man, and you got to take advantage of the things that put out in front of you. Defensively, when they stack the box, take a shot down the field. I want to see Lenore sling the rock. He did it 2 weeks ago. He needs to do it again. Last 3 weeks are going to determine what the rest of I'm going to expect for next year for South Carolina. So we'll see, man. I mean, there is a lot of frustration in regards to all of that. So find your rhythm offensively, dude. Find your rhythm. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back in a minute.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
My concern going into this weekend is that Marcel Reed is going to break one off and you're not going to be there to shut him down. You got to find your dudes for the rest of this year. And one of those being your quarterback. What happens if you continue to have the same struggles that you've had all year? Three quarterbacks have gotten benched in the SEC this year. Jackson Arnold, Garrett Nussmeier, and DJ Lagway. Is it time to shut down Lenoris? Man, you would hope not. You would hope not. But listen, you cannot go into this game and piss it down your leg. I know it's an 11 a.m. kickoff. This is an Aggies defense that is top 20 in run D. And like I mentioned, this defense, I don't think they've taken a step back. They've been dominant at times, but they will wear down over the course of a game because they don't have the depth. They don't have what they had last year. We'll see, man. You know, you're talking about a defense that's only allowed just under 320 yards of total offense a game. And you're talking about an offense in total that's one of the worst in the SEC. You got to find ways to generate big plays. Got to create some positive plays specifically to your playmakers, to your Nick Harbors, to your Brian Rose, to your Amazio Bennett's. You got to get your playmakers involved. So, not only that, Beamer Ball has to play a role in this as well. Because if Akari Swain can give you a short field, you have a chance at creating some big plays. And you have an opportunity to get a short field, which gives your offense some more room to work with. But you also can't settle for field goals. Red zone offense has been atrocious. Inside the 10-yard line, several times this year that you have fallen short as you're approaching the goal line and you have had no answer once you get to that point. You'll generate big plays and then you'll piss it all away the rest of the way. We've seen that in several games. Gotta find your dudes, man. This is what Marcel Reed said, or this is what Torian York said as a whole when they talked about this offense. He said they're extremely talented. They have Nick Carver. They have a good running back. They have 3 good backs over there, honestly. The tight ends are big. Offensively, offensive line, you hear about the offensive line coach getting fired and all that, but at the end of the day, they're SEC offensive linemen. So they're going to try to come out here and rip our heads off. And this is what he said. You've been able to avenge a few losses from last year to this year. How much is that in the back of your mind when you play South Carolina this week? It's personal. They're coming with a vengeance. You got a great win last year that kicked off your winning streak. Around the same time as well, when you started when you really got hot. Well, you're in a different boat this year. You need a win to keep your bowl hopes alive. And I didn't think going into this year that you would be in a fight to be in a bowl game. I said your ceiling was 10-2. I thought your floor was 5-7. I thought the mean was around 8-4. I did not expect for a disastrous season that we've seen so far. Primarily because I was sold a bag of goodies. I was told that this offensive line had improved, that we'd seen a lot of things that have changed. You know, Mike Shula, he looks comfortable. A guy like Lenoris. But obviously that's not the case. That's a completely different season that we're talking about. It's called the preseason. It's called talking season, as Spurrier would used to say. So, man, there really ain't a whole lot much else to say tonight, guys. But I want to end off our show as saying this. Your backs are against the wall. What do you do? What do you continue to improve on? What are you expecting to see with a brand new offense that Mike Furry's going to unveil on Saturday? Well, you're going to have to establish some big plays. You're going to have to get your playmakers the football as much as you can. And guys, to be straight up honest with you, you have got to find the dudes that are going to lead the rest of this year. Whether it be Lenoris on the bench or whether it be Cutter Boley that takes or Cutter Woods that takes the rest of the snaps. Guys, you got to find your guys. And I think now it's, especially when you play Coastal next year or next week, I think that'd be a good time to showcase your young dudes. See what they have to bring to the table. But we'll see, man. That's going to wrap it up for us here today. Y'all have a great rest of the night. Stay with us. We'll see you guys later on in the week. Y'all have a good one.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click Join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.